Hello, in this demonstration, I will be exploring mark making with brushes and a variety of non-traditional tools, some of which are found objects. But first, I just wanted to point out this book, this calligraphy book by Denise Lach. And she's a calligrapher, but she does a lot of using mark making to mimic um, textures and patterns in nature. This first I thought it was kelp, but now I'm looking, it looks like a series of beans all lined up. And so using marks to mimic things in nature. Here's a rock surface, and these are the calligraphy marks she used to mimic that rock structure. And let's see. Can't find my page. Okay, this one she uses a fork. So just objects that you find. So in painting, mark making, really what it comes down to is, do you like the brush or the object tool that you pick? Do you like the mark that it makes? So I'm going to do a little exploration here. I've got flat brush, a round brush, an angled brush, fan brush, foam brush. I don't normally like these, but we're going to try that. And a feather and some strips of cardboard. I'm using high flow fluid acrylic. You can, any craft paint is fine as long as it's fluid and liquidy. And I'm going to use some of these cardboard strips, and I've got stacks of 8.5 by 5.5 journal pages. So I'll get started with the more traditional tools. So I like to think of brushes as three-dimensional objects with multiple painting surfaces to be explored. So I've got the tip of the round brush and the flat of it. So I'm just going to dip in my paint, and there's so many variables. So I'm just going to start with the tip, see what kind of mark I can get. If I add more pressure, I get a wider mark. This does not even take into account water, right? What's going to happen if we add water or vary the movement? Okay, so now I'm just going to do the flat of the brush, wider mark. And I want to fill, just we're playing, we're acquainting ourselves with these different mark making tools and their various surfaces, playing with pressure, less pressure, more pressure. Okay, so that's the round brush. Then I'm going to go to the flat brush. If I look at the flat brush, I've got this top surface. Well, that's a lousy brush. I'm going to have to throw that one away. Or maybe it's going to make a cool mark. I'll see. So we've got the flat top surface, the wide surface, and I've got the side. So I'm going to, here's the widest surface. Here's, and if I hold it up, here's the top surface. And here's the side. Again, varying the pressure, the surface you use, and then if I add water, that changes the whole thing. And of course, I forgot to bring my water out here with me. So I'm just on the fly with this. Okay, now I'm going to go to my angled nylon brush. That's a lot of a smoother line. Okay, again, I've got the angle, the top part of it, the sides, and the flat. Okay, so I'm just going to use the top. It becomes like a stamping tool. So I really think it's important to do these warm-up tests before you begin a painting, just to figure out what your tools can do. Here's what the tools can do. And then, of course, the variables are pressure, water, and paint thickness. Okay, this one has a nice sharp crisp edge that when I want to really get up close to and create a crisp shape, I can do that. I have many students tell me, well, I decided to paint because I can't draw. Well, painting is actually drawing with wet, goopy stuff. So if you're still uncomfortable with drawing, at least acquaint yourself with the marks that your brushes and painting tools can make. Here's the fan brush. Again, more or less pressure. This one is, I think people traditionally use it as a blending tool. I just love the mark that it makes. This could be grass, makes a great movement. It could be, look, that could be wind, hair, grass. So start thinking mimicry. What can these marks mimic? Okay, and now the foam brush. I've got the top crisp edge, and there's sort of an angled edge. I never liked these things, but now I'm warming to it. I love this. This kind of looks the speckliness kind of looks like asphalt. Got all these different sides on it. I can, oh, cool. I can explore. Kind of a stamping tool. Okay, and then one of my all-time favorites is a feather. So I need a larger bowl. Okay, I can stamp it flat. I can use the edge of the feather. I get a super crisp and precise line that would be near impossible to paint with a thin paintbrush. You'd need a really steady hand. So this is a great mark making tool. They're all a little different. I don't know. This one's okay. Some's on the flat surface, you'll get a really precise imprint of what that feather looks like. But I particularly like the edge of them. You get this super crisp mark. Okay, and then cardboard. It's a stamping and painting tool. So after you get familiar with all of these tools and you feel comfortable, then what I'd like you to do is pick one that maybe you like the most and fill a whole page with those marks. So I chose the cardboard, and here's a whole page that I filled. And I'm going to use this, once this dries, I can use the marks, the black marks, as a compositional structure, and then I can come in and add more colors. So not just testing the mark one time, but I would say repeat testing it to create a pattern is really important. So fill all these journal pages with marks, see what you get, and then create an entire page of them that then we'll paint in with color. And that is it for exploring mark making with brushes and other non-traditional tools.